Have you ever met any famous person?
Howard Hughes.
Who is that?
He was the owner of Hughes Aircraft Company,
Oh, wow.
a multi-billionaire.
Nice. That's cool. When was that?
That was in 1951.
Wow. What is your full name?
Stanley Levi Thornton.
Were you named, by someone? Were you, named after someone?
Actually, the name Levi goes back 6, 7, 8 generations on the Hammond side of the family.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. Did you have a nickname when you were growing up?
When I was in grammar school, my nickname was Terp.
Why was it that?
I don't have the slightest idea. That's what I was called all my elementary school days, Terp.
Do you have any other nicknames as an adult?
No. Dawn always called me Honey. Never called me Stan.
Never?
No. She always just called me Honey.
Nice. Where and when were you born?
I was born in Idaho Falls, Idaho, on June the 28th, 1928.
Oh, that's kind of easy to remember. The 28th, the year 28.
So it's easy to remember, 6/28/28.
You baptized into the Mormon church
Yes,
when you were 8?
I was a little over 8, about 8.5, because I had a cousin that was younger than me, and he wanted me to wait and be baptized with him, so I did.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Parents and grandparents both Mormon?
Yes,
Were people way before you Mormon?
on both sides of the family, the Thornton and the Hammond, some of them joined the church as soon as it was founded, but as far as I know, they've been members far back as there's been a church.
Oh, wow. Where was your first house?
That I bought
Yeah.
in Westchester, down by the LAX.
Oh. Nice. Do you still live there, or is that a different house?
No, that house has been gone since they rebuilt the runway.
Oh,
From there, I bought a house in Fullerton and then Yorba Linda.
oh nice. 1 second.
We bought in Westchester, California, which is a affluent neighborhood. It was nice, quiet, only about 1.5 miles from where I was working. And we had to sell it because they were expanding the runways in the Los Angeles airport, and they took our house and all of them around it down, just didn't burn them, but they wrecked all the houses so they could build the airport.
Did they pay you?
Yeah, they paid us.
Nice. Tell me any stories or memories of your brothers and sisters growing up.
I had 1 brother and 4 sisters. One sister was 4 years older than me, and I remember during the war she worked in Pocatello, Idaho, in some kind of a factory where they built parts for airplanes and things. My other sisters, she was 2 years older than me, and she died in 1945, just after she gave birth to my nephew.
Oh.
She died from lack of care, really, from the doctors. And another sister, Elaine, is 2 years younger than me. And nothing but spectacular happened with her. She's just an ordinary girl. Her best friend was named Elaine.
Oh, really?
Same age, so the 2 Elaines. And that is Bonnie's aunt.
What about your brother?
My brother was about 4 years younger than me, very thin. He was sick most of his life.
Hmm.
But he graduated, he played in the band in high school, and after he graduated, he joined the Air Force. Spent 4 years there. Then he worked for the government at different radar sites, and he died of a heart attack. I don't remember the year, but a few years ago.
Oh. How old was he when he died?
I think he was about 60, 62 maybe.
Mm.
And my youngest sister, Carrie, she was just a baby. You know, most of them, when I was in Idaho and living at home, because she just turned 83, so she was 7 years younger than me.
Oh, wow.
Her first husband, they had 7 children, and he died. He fell out of a tree over at my parents' house, and a year later he died from that fall.
Huh.
And so she married again several years later, but a man who had 2 children, so between the 2 of them they had 9 children.
Oh, wow.
All good kids. My sister Carrie's still alive in Rigby. My sister Elaine is still alive in Idaho Falls. Elaine has Alzheimer's, so she doesn't remember things.
Oh.
But we grew up, just had a good time. We didn't have electricity until I was about 12 years old when we got electricity.
Oh, wow.
And so,
What are the full names of all your siblings?
okay. Jean is Priscilla Jean, Donna Iola, Tressa Elaine, Sarah Carey, and Glenn Harry.
Oh, nice. So you were the middle child?
Well, I was the third, the youngest, third to the oldest, and there were 6 and I was third, so.
Oh. What did your family like to do for fun?
For fun,
Yeah.
when I grew up, we didn't really get to do anything because it was during World War II, and everything was rationed, gas was rationed, food was rationed, so we couldn't really go any place or do anything. But Dad and I mainly went fishing a lot. It was close by, so we went to Yellowstone Park and did a lot of fishing. And
I didn't know you could fish at Yellowstone. You can fish at Yellowstone?
oh, we fished in Yellowstone Park a lot of times.
Oh, wow.
We'd use gas that we bought for our tractor to use in the car, and we'd go up there and go fishing.
Oh, nice. What was your least favorite chore as a child?
My least favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't have many toys. So I really don't remember getting anything except that one bicycle. And that was for 6 kids. But we never really had toys.
What was your least favorite chore?
Car?
Chore, like washing the dishes or something.
Oh, my chores were to milk the cows, feed the animals. When I was real small, in the 1st and 2nd grade, I had to take the cows and in the summertime and herd them in the borrow pit where the grass was green, and I'd stay out all day long and then bring them in time to milk them. And the next morning, same thing again.
Which was your least favorite?
I didn't have to work in the house because I had sisters. But I think my least favorite was getting up at 3 o'clock to milk the cows so the milk could be out at 4 o'clock for the milkman to pick it up.
No, that wouldn't be fun.
No, that was a little early to get up.
What kind of books did you like to read?
Western books.
Western?
I like Louis L'Amour's books and I don't know, just Western books. I really enjoy them.
Nice. Did you have a lot of books?
I did have, yes, because I like to read.
Nice.
And again, all I ever read were Western stories.
Nice. You remember having a favorite nursery rhyme or bedtime story?
I don't think I was ever told a bedtime story.
Really?
Don't remember ever my mother or dad ever reading one or telling me a story.
Did they ever like tuck you in?
Not that I remember, but I'm sure they did. Because when I was born, I weighed less than 4 pounds. So I was a tiny baby.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sure they took good care of me.
Ever remember a time where you didn't have enough food?
Yes, a lot of times we didn't have enough food because before we bought the farm, Dad just worked various odd jobs. And again, that was World War II. What we could grow in the garden was fine, but if you couldn't grow it in the garden, we had to go without. Like sugar, we couldn't buy sugar.
No sugar?
No, we couldn't buy sugar. But for about 4 years, we couldn't buy sugar.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah. I don't know what else, but I remember sugar particularly. We ate sour fruit because we didn't have sugar to put on it.
What are your favorite childhood games? Like your favorite board game?
Monopoly.
You like Monopoly?
We played Monopoly a lot, yes.
Were you good at it?
Not too bad, yeah.
Nice.
I didn't always win, but a lot of times I would break the bank and my sisters.
What was your favorite outside game?
My favorite outside game was football.
You really liked that?
I really did.
Did your siblings like to play too?
No, my brother was a lot younger than me, but he and I played catch a lot with football.
Oh.
And neighbor boys would come over and would throw the football.
Nice.
Family didn't participate much because they didn't like football.
Not big fans? You remember any fashion trends when you were a kid?
Remember what?
Any fashion trends, like something that was popular for people to wear?
Well, my Stetson hat that I wear here, that most everybody wore a hat like that instead of a baseball cap.
Were you allowed to wear them at school?
Not in school, but we could wear them to school.
Nice.
Then we had to hang them up on a coat rack.
Where did you attend a grade school?
In Rigby.
Do you remember what the school was called?
Well, first of all, I was in the Iona school. And I went there for about 2.5 years. Then we moved up to Milo, and I went to a school called the Buck School, where I was the only boy in the 3rd grade.
Really?
But the school only had 6 people. there were 6 girls and me.
Oh.
And after that, I went to the Milo school, and then we moved to Rigby, and I went to the Rigby Elementary School.
Oh, wow, that's a lot just for grade school.
That is a lot.
Wow. Where you went to high school?
Yes,
Where was that at?
that was in Rigby, Idaho.
You went there for grade school and part of high school?
Yes.
Nice.
The Rigby Red Devils.
The Rigby Red Devils. What were your schools like? Do you remember?
My what?
What were your schools like?
The schools?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember much about Iona, but as I said, I was the only boy in the third grade. We had actually 2 rooms, first, second, and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth were in another room. And I don't think there was over maybe 35, 40 kids in the whole school.
Oh, wow.
Then Milo was a little bigger, nicer school. But we didn't have school buses, so I rode my bike or my horse to school until we moved to Rigby. And then we had school buses. And
Oh, wow. Do you like school?
I enjoyed school. I did. I liked to play sports, and I liked history. And I enjoyed school. I really did.
Nice. What subject in school was the easiest for you?
I'd say math.
Math?
Right.
That one just came naturally?
That did come naturally. Like Aiden and you kids, I learned my times table before school, and math always came easy to me.
Nice. Who's your favorite teacher?
A teacher called Miss Fowler.
Why was she your favorite?
She was kind, she was thoughtful. She signed a lot of homework, but she helped us with it.
What did she teach?
Well, she just taught, in those days, one teacher taught everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what grade were you in when you had her?
I was, when I had her, I was a junior in high school.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I was a sophomore in high school. 1 year earlier.
Oh, that's fun. How do you think your schoolmates in school remember you?
Well, we always got along, most of us, and I still talk to 6 of my schoolmates on the cell telephone on the program. I forget what it's called, but we email each other back and forth,
Oh, nice.
and most of them remembered me as being good in football and good in track. We always got along fine. I didn't have any bad feelings to anybody.
That's good. Good grades in school?
Not really.
No? Not
No.
even math?
Math, I got straight A's. History, I got straight A's, but English, I got C's all the way because I didn't like English.
What about science?
We didn't really have, we had science, but I don't really remember much about it except that it was not as hard for me because math was easy.
And they kind of connect.
Right.
What did you wear to school on like a regular basis?
Levi's and just a shirt like I got on now.
Nice. What school activities and sports did you participate in?
I participated in football, basketball, track, and baseball.
Nice. Did you play those throughout high school?
Yes. Well, not my freshman year, my sophomore year. For 3 years I did.
Nice. Did you and your friends have like a hiding place, I guess, where you like to spend time together?
My father and I,
No, your friends.
or my friends, there was a little hamburger place called Moss Stalls. That after football or after practice or game, we'd all go there and get hamburgers and soft drink and just hang out there.
Oh, that's fun. Where was it at?
It was in Rigby,
Be?
right downtown Rigby.
Nice. Been any special awards or anything for like your school activities or studies?
Well, in the Snake River Valley, I placed first in running the 440-yard dash. And in 1945, I went up to the University of Idaho in Moscow and ran in the state track meet. And I only placed fifth in that race, but and then I got letters in football. I was a running back and got letters for it, and I got the letters for that and baseball. I didn't get a letter in basketball because I quit playing it.
Nice. How many years of education have you had?
A total, I've got 12, 14, 16.
It's a long time, I feel like.
Yeah, it is.
Was that part of 2 years of college?
That, yeah, there was, 12 years of schooling, and then I eventually got 4 years of college in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What were you like as a young adult?
I was quiet, helpful. I don't remember doing an awful lot because that time I was working hard trying to earn a living.
What did you study in college?
First of all, I studied electronics. Then I switched over to business, and I got my degree in U.S. contracts.
Wow.
Or in other words, it was a business class, a business course. I think today the same thing is just called business something or other, and I don't remember the last. Not business education, but business something.
Wasn't it something? Nice. And you had a bachelor degree, is that right?
Yes.
As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I don't know what I wanted to be. The only thing I knew I did not want to be a farmer. It was too hard work, too much work.
You didn't like it?
Oh, I didn't dislike it, but it was just hard work all the time. We worked from morning, daylight till dark, all 7 days a week. And that was pretty hard.
You decide on a business career.
Well, after Don and I got married, I applied to Hughes Aircraft Company. And I got a job there in electronics. And don't know, remember how many years, but all the time I was going to night school, 3 nights a week, 3 hours a night.
Oh, that's not too bad, but still.
But then they offered this course in business administration. That's what it was.
Oh.
But to get it, you had to take all these government contracts or lessons in law, contract law. So that's what the government paid, or Hughes Aircraft paid for it. And I got that from UCLA, got my degree from UCLA, just going nights.
Oh, nice.
And off campus, didn't have to go on campus because they conducted classes right there at Hughes Aircraft Company.
Oh, nice.
But prior to that, when I got my AA from Fullerton College, they called me and asked me if I wanted to work in contracts. And I had no idea what it was about, but I said yes. And I don't remember what year that was, 1960 or something like that. And I just worked in contracts and worked myself up to manager of international contracts.
Nice.
So, and that's when I finished my degree, was after I got into contracts, but before I became manager.
Nice. Did you make enough money to live comfortably?
Yes, we did. We didn't spend a lot, but we had what we wanted and what we needed. So we did.
How many hours do you think you had to work each day at your job?
In the beginning, I was working 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh, wow.
That's when the company first started, and they were trying to build up and get government contracts and stuff. When I got my contract job, I was still working 9, 10 hours a day, a lot of weekends. But I'd say all in all, I averaged about 60 hours a week.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
That is a lot, but it paid off.
How old were you when you retired?
62.
Oh, so that's good.
Yep,
All that hard work paid off.
did.
Ever injured with your jobs?
No,
No?
no.
Never had an aircraft injury?
I never had any injury. No.
How old were you when you started dating?
I was 15.
15?
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents okay with that?
Yes.
Nice.
That was before the rule came out, you should be 16.
So they didn't have that, so you didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't have it when I was 15.
When, where, and how did you meet Donna?
I met Donna. We lived on a farm just a mile apart. So I met her first in church in 1942. Yep, it was 1942 when we moved there. And met her in church. And then we had several classes together in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's how, when, and where.
Remember your first date with Donna?
We went to a movie at Halloween. I don't remember the name of the movie, but that was my first date with her to a Halloween movie.
How long did you know Donna since you before you got married?
Well, I met her in 1942 and we got married in 1950. So 8 years.
8 years, wow. Describe your wedding proposal.
We got engaged on Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yes. And instead of giving her a big Valentine, I gave her the ring and asked her if she'd marry me, and she said yes. And actually, we was engaged for 2 years before we got married.
Oh, really?
Right, because she was working up in Sacramento part of the time. I was living in Los Angeles.
Wow. Remember where and when you got married?
Got married, July the 1st, 1950, in Los Angeles.
Nice. Remember your wedding ceremony?
Yeah,
What was it like?
the actual ceremony was really great. We got married by the bishop of our ward in a church. We didn't get married in a temple till much later. But she was a beautiful girl anyway. She had on a beautiful white dress. And, I remember I wore a white tuxedo that I rented. And we went up to Carmel on our honeymoon, which is a beautiful place right on the ocean, just up by San Francisco.
Nice. Who was at your wedding?
Well, my sister came down, Elaine came down from Idaho. Donna's mother came down. And then I had 4 cousins living down in Los Angeles. Ralph and Betty Smith and Nedra and Dean Thornton. And then just a lot of our church members came. And then Governor Knight gave Donna away at the wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was the best man?
Ralph Smith.
And who was the bridesmaid?
Well, I know Betty Smith was one. And I think my sister Elaine was one. Donna's sister Elaine was one. And I don't remember the others. She had 6, but I don't remember the other 3.
That's okay. It's a good list. On your honeymoon.
We went, first of all, to Carmel, spent a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went up to Yellowstone Park and spent a week.
Nice.
So we spent 2 weeks.
What did you do?
At Carmel, we just drove around and looked at the city. It wasn't much of a city, but the beach was nice. Of course, in Yellowstone Park, we just drove around and saw all the sights, which we'd seen several times before, but we always loved Yellowstone Park.
Just couldn't get enough.
Right.
Who described Donna?
Donna was really a beautiful, patient, kind person. She was a hard worker, a good mom, extra good wife. I have nothing bad to say about Donna. She was just good all over all the time.
What did you admire most about Donna?
I think her hard work. She's a good, excellent cook. No matter what I did, she helped me. She was beautiful. She really was a good-looking woman. The looks don't always count, but she was a beautiful girl.
Will you guys have been married this summer?
We got married in 1950, so that's 50 years plus 18, 68 years.
Wow. How old was Donna when she passed away?
She was 79, I think, 79.
How long ago was that?
That was 10 years ago, almost 11 years.
So 2008?
That's when she died, January the 2nd.
Where were you guys at?
She was in a hospital, and I was there with her when she died.
Where was the hospital at?
In Anaheim, California.
Nice. What was she sick with?
She had Alzheimer's, and as a result of Alzheimer's, she got pneumonia.
Oh.
And they couldn't clear up the pneumonia, and that's what killed her. She just couldn't breathe.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She had a long, hard fight before she passed away. She really did.
What advice did you give to your children on their wedding days?
Well, I don't believe I gave Ron anything. I don't remember that really. except Bonnie, only lacked 1 or 2 classes to get her degree from BYU.
Really?
Yeah. And I had her promise me she'd get it. But then Michael changed that, didn't want her to go to school. So she never did go back and get it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So weird. How did you find out you were going to be a parent for the first time?
I don't remember how Donna told me, but I don't remember how she told me, but she told me.